Hey everyone, it's Jules here from the Board Game BBQ. I'm here today to talk about a brand new game on Kickstarter called Zoo Vadis. It's published by Bitewing Games and designed by the great Dr Reiner Knizia. It plays 3 to 7 players and takes around 20 to 40 minutes depending on that player count. I'll go through a brief overview of how the game works and then share a few of my thoughts on this game after having played it a number of times now. So let's have a look at the table and see how it plays. Zoo Vadis is a negotiation game where the object of the game is to earn laurel tokens and navigate your way through the board to have one of your animals in the star exhibit at the top of the board. Once all the spaces in the star exhibit have been filled, that will trigger the end of the game, and the player with the most laurel tokens at the end of the game will win. The game is very simple. You get one action on your turn, and you've got 4 different options in which you can choose to execute on your turn. The first being to add a new animal into the zoo from one of the 4 starting exhibits. You can advance one of your animals. You can choose to advance a peacock, which are one of the non-player controlled animal races, or you can move the zookeeper. The core mechanics of this game really come down to negotiating with other players, because to advance your animals up towards the star exhibit, you'll need to obtain votes. You need to obtain a majority number of votes depending on the size of the exhibit that you're trying to move out from. For example, a 3-slot exhibit, you'll need to obtain 2 votes, whether they're 2 of your own animals, one of yours, or one of someone else's. You must be able to obtain 2. If you do obtain that majority, you'll get to advance collecting the laurel token along the chosen path you take to the next exhibit. If you find yourself struggling to get the votes, you have the peacocks to help. You can bribe the peacocks to obtain votes. However, you need to pay them a 2 value or higher laurel token in order to secure their vote. 2 1 value tokens will not suffice. They need the more higher value tokens. If you fail to secure those votes, or you don't have enough to bribe a peacock instead, you might choose to move a peacock. Moving a peacock doesn't require any votes to leave a particular location, but doing so will net you a 1 value laurel token from the supply. It's a little way to get a bit of income going to work with later. The other option you have is to move the zookeeper. The zookeeper moves on top of laurel tokens anywhere on the board and is not confined by the paths throughout the zoo. If you move the zookeeper to a location, you do not collect any reward. However, anyone passing over that path from one exhibit to another will not need a majority number of votes to do so. The trade-off being you do not get to collect the laurel token that is underneath the zookeeper. Play will go back and forth from each player taking one action at a time, either advancing an animal, advancing a peacock, adding another animal to the zoo, or moving the zookeeper until all of the slots at the star exhibit token are filled. But why are you trying to get to the star exhibit? The star exhibit simply allows you to be eligible to win the game. It does not provide any bonuses other than you are eligible to win. If you have at least one of your animals there, you'll count up the laurel tokens you've collected, and if you have the most, congratulations, you've won the game. You might be thinking, why would other players give me their votes so I can advance and collect laurel tokens? Well, if players do give votes to an opponent, and the opponent gets to advance, they will collect a 1 value laurel token from the supply, giving a reward for helping move the game forward. The negotiation doesn't end there though. Promises can be made with other players. You can promise to vote for other players in a future round. You might offer one of the available special powers if you're playing with those in the game to break and bend the rules to offer an advantage to another player. However, offering powers also nets you some money as well, so there's a trade-off there as well. With these tools at your disposal of offering votes to get money from the supply, maybe making deals with other players to pay for votes, or offering powers. You'll work your way up through the zoo, hoping to get to that star exhibit and collecting the most money by the end of the game. Now, I'll share a few of my thoughts with you on the game. So that's how you play Zoo Vadis. Now, I've gotten to play this game a few times, from 3 players all the way up to 7 players. And I have to say right off the bat, I've had a great time every time I've played it. The map is double-sided, so it scales for the number of players in the game, and there's a few pieces like the peacocks that you don't have as many or more of them depending on the player count. I think this game is really, really good, and for someone that does like negotiation and wheeling and dealing with other players, I think this game offers just the right amount of tools necessary to give players what they need to grease the wheel a little bit and grease some palms and make those deals. I have played other negotiation games out there where the negotiation can become quite convoluted and take a long time, and the game starts to drag on, and that is not the case with this one. I think just due to the simplicity of its design and the simplicity of the rule set and those minimal components, you really only have the animal powers, you have money you can offer to other players, and just the promise of working with someone in the future. However, I will note, any promises you make on the current turn that can be fulfilled must be fulfilled, but any future promises, we'll see what happens. I thoroughly enjoy that part of the game, and I will note that this is definitely not a game for everyone, being that the core of this game is negotiation. If you do run into players that sort of want to block or stonewall a bit of the game, I think it will struggle a little bit, but that's the same for any negotiation game. However, when I have encountered that, they haven't done so well in the game. You really need to work with people or find a way to work in order to get up to that star exhibit and be eligible to win. I think this was such a great re-implementation of one of Reiner Knizia's older games, Zoo Vadis, and I think the artwork is fantastic. Noting that this is a prototype that has been sent at this point in time, but it looks amazing. The artwork's fantastic. I can tell a lot of work and a lot of love has been poured into this one. I will definitely be bringing this to the table again, and I think it really does nail it on the box, that 20 to 45 minutes, the 45 being on the higher end of the player count up towards that 7. It definitely doesn't outstay its welcome. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I would happily play it any other time. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and also leave a comment. What do you think of negotiation games? They can be some of the more divisive games in the hobby, but for me, this is a really, really great one. It's executed so well. It's simple and very easy to learn, gives just the right amount of tools for players to wheel and deal without dragging those negotiations on. It's always been a fun experience for me, and I hope it will be for you too. That's it for me. That's my thoughts on Zoo Vadis, so bye for now.